The Oklahoma Federation of Republican Women posted this insane image and message on their Facebook page. Take a look. Yes, there's a black man hanging from a tree with those words right next to it. So eventually this group was forced to come out and apologize, but naturally people were disturbed and pissed off, and I question whether or not they actually stopped believing the message behind it, even though they apologized. We know how those apologies usually go. Now, I don't know the exact wording of this apology here, but we've heard the apologies in the past where it's like, I'm sorry that you were offended by the thing I said, which was totally true. That's usually the kind of apology that we hear all over the place. But here's the thing. That's one of the dumbest fucking comments I've ever seen in my life. So, first of all, it's sad that the right wing never catches on to this, or they don't care to catch on to it because it would disrupt their narrative and it would prove them wrong, so they can't bring themselves to admit it. But, of course, the reality of the situation is that the Democrats created the KKK back when the Democrats were the Dixiecrats, or in other words, they were the conservatives of the South. Since then, you know what happened? All those people are not still Democrats. They left that party and ran right into the arms of the Republicans. Now, why is that? Anybody who knows history can say it along with me here. The Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and Lyndon B. Johnson. Remember, Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat, and when he signed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, there's this famous moment where he says, the Democrats are going to lose the South for a generation. And he was 100% right about that. So there was a realignment of the political parties in America. And the Democrats had become the liberal party across the board, and then the Republicans had become the conservative party across the board. And all along, it was the conservatives who were the ones who were most racist, who fought change, who wanted to keep blacks down. And that's not my opinion, that's an absolute fact. So Abraham Lincoln, for example, he was a Republican. But Abraham Lincoln was a Republican when the Republicans were the liberal party. It wasn't the liberals who were in favor of slavery. Any idiot can figure this out, okay? So they just get their history wrong because, in essence, the fact is that the parties have switched since that was the case. So, racist Democrats. Right, racist Democrats when Democrats were the conservative party and the year was 1956. So please, spare me your, they try to muddle away or cover up all the nuance and all the facts so they can just say Democrats equal racist, therefore even today Democrats are racist, which leads to the next point, how they say, oh yeah, the Democrats traded the rope, control over black Americans, from the rope to welfare. Please. So let me get this straight. Giving people a little bit of money when times are tough so they can survive is equal to killing that person. No, you know what's equal to killing that person? Killing that person. So that would be equal to it. Helping somebody with a little bit of money when times get rough is doing the polar opposite of killing that person. I mean, think about, they take logic and just flip it on its head. This is the old conservative argument of, well, if you help somebody, you ain't really helping somebody. Really? How does that work? When you give them a little bit of money so they can eat, they're going to keep on taking that money, and then they're never going to want to work to earn the money. Except that's an empirical claim, and we can test it. So if that were true, what would happen? Well, we'd see a tremendously high rate of waste, fraud, and abuse in all these different social safety net programs. And that just doesn't happen. So, for example, according to a USDA study, in food stamps, so the SNAP program, what percentage of that is waste, fraud, and abuse? So, in other words, what percentage of that is people taking it when they don't qualify for the program? 1%. So 99% of people that use, SNAP or use other government programs, these are people who've just fallen on hard times and they need a little bit of help. It's like $1.30 a meal in order to feed your fucking kids. What's the alternative? Don't give it to them and let the kids starve? Fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Dog eat dog world? I thought you guys were the Christians. I thought you didn't believe in that. And also, Hey, jackass, if that was the case, if it really was the case that, oh, welfare makes you lazy, well then, you know what the laziest countries in the world would be? Nobody would work in Scandinavia. Nobody would work there. Nobody would work in most places in Europe. You know, it would be the case that in the UK, and France, and Denmark, and Norway, and Iceland, that the unemployment rate would be like 60%. Because they have much bigger social safety nets. They have much more generous unemployment benefits when people fall on hard times and they lose their job. They have universal health care. They have universal education in many of these places. So according to right-wing logic, if you give somebody a little bit of money, a little bit of help with welfare, they're never going to get their shit together. But that's not true. Or what happens is people go, hey, thanks, society, for helping me when times were rough. Now, they end up somehow making a way for themselves, and then they can return the favor by paying their taxes and offering the same opportunity and the safety net to everyone else. See, the thing is, the beliefs they have are just untrue. Like, what they believe is just false. They want to blame today's Democrats for creating the KKK, when it's the exact opposite. It would be today's Republicans that created the KKK, because the conservatives created the KKK. And they want to say, hey, by helping somebody and giving them a little bit of help when times get rough, that's akin to killing them. No, helping somebody when times get rough is akin to helping somebody when times get rough. And by the way, they act like there are no, restrictions and regulations that go hand in hand with these programs. Most of these programs have strict benchmarks that you have to meet. So, for example, if you're on unemployment, you only get it for a certain amount of time, and you need to prove that you're looking for work as you get the unemployment. So, by definition, you can't be lazy if you're getting it. Same with other programs. Now, again, some people skirt around that, and they do game the system, but I just told you the numbers before. 1% of people are gaming the system. And even if I'm overly kind to you, which I shouldn't be, because there's no basis on which I should do this, but even if it's 5% of people, do you really want to say fuck you to 95% of people who are using the social safety net, and they're just trying to get by and make a living and do all right for themselves? So, spare me. Your arguments are just wrong. See, a lot of people get caught up on just the offensive nature of it, the fact that they showed a lynching in this picture along with this meme. Yeah, I hear you, and I'm angry about that too. Okay, and it is fucked up that they showed it. But the reality is, lynchings happen, we know they happen, we're all adults, and, to see that is fucked up that they're making us see it, but lynchings happen, so what are we going to cover our eyes and say history isn't real? That's not the part that offends me the most. The part that offends me the most is the fact that everything they said is false. That's what offends me. What offends me is, oh, Democrats, KKK, blame them. We're not the racist ones, they are. They're racist. So trying to deflect. That's offensive because it's factually incorrect. And it's offensive to say welfare is like murder. No, helping somebody is basically the opposite of murder. Good people help people, bad people murder people. But I know that's too hard a concept for you guys to understand.